What up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the Death Scourge. Yeah, so we had a playtest on the Death Scourge. We were allowed to record things and share that information. That's exactly what I'm going to do now. And the big thing that everyone wants to know is, what minion team should I build? Because I don't want to build minions, so I don't want to have to waste resources. That answer is Ravagers with Merc Lieutenant and Merc Ravager. In this video, we're going to do a side-by-side comparison against the only other minion team I had built, which was Shield. Against the Ravagers, we're going to do a very simple run, then we're going to do a very extensive run. We're going to talk about why the Ravagers, the Merc Lieutenant, and the Riot Guard really, they just take over. And the minion team for Shield, at least, can't really keep up. I couldn't test any other team because we had our live accounts, and I don't have any other minion team built. So there's that. Now, there is a rumor saying I was suggesting people build Shield. I can't tell you how many times I said don't build Shield because I'm building my Shield. I did make that video earlier. On paper, they looked great. It made sense in my head. Fortunately, didn't work out. If somebody told you that, complain to them, don't complain to me, because I gave lots of disclaimers. So let's go ahead and get into this, and we're going to start with a very simple run. Difficulty 9, which is the highest difficulty I've been able to do with minions, with only the 3 beneficial Scourges. We're going to start with the Shield team. So right away, we get stuck behind the blob, and I guess right away I should talk about what I would suggest you build on the Shield team if you do need to build it, because they can handle at least difficulty 8, but the benefit of the team isn't there. We'll talk about that later. So for the Shield team, T4 wise, you really only need the Assaulter passive. As far as ISOs go, I like Skirmisher on Protector, I like Striker on Trooper Medic, and I like Raider on Assaulter. Make sure she has 100%, put lots of vulnerables out, and Skirmisher on Operative, because I did need that extra focus to get through this blob. But as you see, I am lacking in damage severely. Even with no Scourges on, it's like Shield just has this little pea shooter, and they're just going about their business. And I did already lose 1 life on Medic. I'm assuming that was from the Mystique Ultimate. There's a workaround for the first Mystique Ultimate, and the second Mystique Ultimate can kind of be negated through other means. That's going to be in my in-depth guide videos that are either going to be posted alongside this video or tomorrow when the Death Scourge officially goes live. So if you want the fat strats for that, go ahead and check that out. And we're not going to talk about Node 2 in this video, but I will, of course, have the guide for Node 2 in that guide video. So we just lost Trooper. Trooper's now gone. He's dead. Difficulty 9, no Scourges, and we lost somebody. So we can't use this one team to get through both nodes. Nobody wants to have to build up 2 minion teams. Ravagers are going to settle that for us. And we're still struggling to get through this Juggernaut. Just throwing our pea shooters at him, doing the best we can. A little thing I should mention here is this was on full auto. I think I just went off full auto for a second, take out the Magneto. So I didn't do the targeting here. I didn't do any kind of abilities. Definitely could have played this better. I can tell you Shield can get through Node 9, difficulty 9, Node 1, if you're piloting it properly. But with the Ravagers, you don't even have to. So it speaks volumes to that, right? So let's go ahead and look at our Ravager team. And just like before, let's talk about T4s and ISO 8. It's a little bit more. So for Riot Guard, I like him as a healer. No T4s necessary. Lieutenant, I like him as a healer. The special and the passive will help you out. They're not super essential though. Bruiser doesn't need anything. You really want him as a skirmisher. Stitcher, you kind of really like that basic because he's the damage of the team. And you want him as a striker, being that he's the damage of the team. Boomer, that special does do a turn meter rewind, and we like him as a skirmisher. So we're going to have lots of vulnerables for Stitcher to hit into. But oddly enough, Bruiser is the MVP of this team. The correct positioning I do have up there in the corner. I didn't do it on this footage we're watching because it just wasn't necessary. So again, we're on full auto, but I'd like for you to take note of how fast this blob just melts. He absolutely melts. He's already gone. We're on Strange already. I don't even think, did Strange get to do Winds of Watum? I don't know, because he's gone. Ravagers, they just get better buffs. That's what it comes down to. We'll talk about that in a little bit here. I just wanted to keep going down so you can see the domination. Same about Spider-Man's now gone. He didn't even get a chance to ult, so we didn't have to deal with all those nasty slows. Now we're on Juggernaut, and definitely take note of how quickly Juggernaut goes down as well. So now we're stuck on the Juggernaut. It looks like we did lose a Merc Lieutenant life. I think that was from the Mystique Ultimate. That normally doesn't happen because normally you're going to have defense up and you're going to take that hit better. But sometimes Stitcher can pop off. Luckily, this is Scourge mode. If something bad happens and you happen to lose Lieutenant permanently, reset and do it again. So yeah, this was just with the 3 basic minion Scourges. Scourges are so much more valuable than difficulty level that you're going to be using a lot more Scourges. So we need to look at how these minion teams fare with a lot on. So now we're doing a difficulty 9 run with every single Scourge attached except for the health modifiers and zombification. Zombification was absolutely busted. It's probably going to be the hardest Scourge that people are going to be fighting over to min-max their scores. So here's Shield. They're doing their best. They're not scratching this blob. They can't do much. He's getting buffs every single turn, so that defense up just keeps stacking up. We're just not getting through him. I don't even know if we end up killing him. Same about Spider-Man goes. And as you see, I'm just falling apart. The Shield team absolutely doesn't stand a chance. And I was piloting this, so I was trying to do it well, but I just couldn't get over the blob. Now, could you throw in a couple extra skirmishers and maybe get through it? Possibly. Very unlikely. Let's see, do I do the right formation now? Okay, perfect. Now I have the right positioning there, because this does matter. And let's watch how the Ravagers get through it, and let's talk about why they're great. So that first Mystique ult, it goes for the Bruiser. He's very tanky, but there's other options, right? If Toad doesn't chain from the entire side, you'll have defense up on 3 Ravagers. If she chooses a defense up Ravager to take that ultimate hit, you're going to be fine. And that's the same kind of thing that we talk about with the second Mystique. When she drops in, you get defense up from Ravager, and he can do it so often with the energy he's getting throughout the match that second Mystique very rarely pops you off. It kind of did in the last video, which was awkward, but share the good and the bad. But as you see, we didn't die without killing a single character. In fact, we are trucking along. So a big thing that the Ravager team brings, especially Bruiser, is buff control. We have so many buffs on the enemy team, but Bruiser with his special neuters the enemy buff. So that was just resisted, but I'm sure it's already happened where he used that special probably on Blob, and he just takes all those buffs off, and we go to town and we get business done. And this is even more important on Node 2, which you will definitely see in my guide video. But yeah, we're ripping through this. We're very healthy. This time around, even though we have like 300 more Scourges on, Merc Lieutenant did not die. And we can even slow play it at the end because we have so much passive healing from Merc Lieutenant and Ravager that we're getting by it. Oh, and Stitcher, there's so much ability block in this that the Stitcher heal bypasses heal block, which is great. And I didn't even get to mention Merc Lieutenant giving offense up and speed up. Let's pause it, because that is a very big thing too for the Merc Lieutenant. Him giving speed up counteracts any speed down you might get from Blob or same about Spider-Man, and then you get your turn, and then you'll cleanse the enemy's slow that was on you, and then you just get to go back to business. So him making sure that you're not sitting there getting beat up the whole time, which is exactly what happened to Shield, is huge. And then you get the offense up. Boomer and Stitcher do incredible damage with that offense up. These enemies are very squishy, even on difficulty 9, and when you're having that Bruiser peel off those buffs, you can really nuke through these enemies. So I can't stress enough how much better the Ravager team with Merc Lieutenant and Merc Ravager. For all those reasons, the defense up, the buff strips, the speed up, the offense up, the permanent kill from Stitcher, the turn meter rewind from Boomer, the slow from Boomer. It's not a contest. They have the best stats as well. There is not a contest for the minion section. It is definitely the Ravagers with Merc Lieutenant and Merc Ravager. So again, guys, if you saw that Shield video and you built them up, I'm sorry. I did try and warn you that this was a theory crafted thing. I didn't have access to this playtest server when I did that. So hopefully you didn't end up wasting resources. Bye for now.